Hi, my name is Luana Lovelace, and today I'm going to explain the use of AI recommendation engines in libraries. For this presentation, I will be covering what Reader's Advisory looks like with the patron-library interactions, explain the use of AI in libraries, what are recommendation engines, and how would they help library services, some examples of AI recommendation systems, and some suggested issues that could come up in the future. Reader's Advisory and in-person interactions. Modern day Reader's Advisory is one-on-one interviews between a patron and a librarian. Often patrons come having recently read a book and want something similar. It's a librarian's job to have an interview with the patron to see exactly what the patron is looking for. This could be writing style, tone, plot, character, etc. Librarians will then search through multiple tools to find similar books to the patron's request. This could take a bit of time and is often a complicated process. There are times when a librarian tries their best looking at newly released books or resources like Bookriot to see if people have already compiled lists with similar books. This takes a bit of research. If a patron is looking for 3 books, that means that the librarian needs to skim through the descriptions and reviews to see if any of them come close to what the patron wants. Even with all that research, librarians can give their selection to a patron, and they can come back later saying it wasn't what they were looking for. Since the 2021 pandemic, libraries have shifted their focus to more virtual means, using social media to lead reading groups and invest more in electronic applications like Novelist or Libby. The newest trend that is being discussed in library world is artificial intelligence. Library Journal writes that over 60% of libraries are planning to integrate some form of AI into their library. Examples being for cataloging, event planning, literacy, or possibly IT. For academic libraries, the focus is more on articles. Tools like Primo Research Assistant can be used for enriching bibliographic records and improving searchability and reduce workload for staff. How do recommendation engines work? The AI recommendation system is based off the user's data. The training process is the reinforcement of that data. Some book recommendation engines can use the neural network to sort through multiple layers of data and analyze the differences and similarities of a user's keyword. Often, the algorithm will use attributes to link a user's request to other selections in the catalog. This can be seen from interactions through reading sites, reading history, comments, likes, or a rating system. Algorithms can also use the data then to find specific patterns between users by genre, author, or writing style. There are different algorithms used in AI recommendation engines. The most common one are collaborative filters, which use the recommended materials based on a user's preference. The AI focuses on identifying a user's behavior patterns and then comparing other users' data. Content-based filters are based on similarities in the data and the user interacting with one item. This is where books are filtered through their similar attributes such as author, genre, or writing style. Then there is a hybrid approach, which combines collaborative and content-based. Finally, deep learning models are for enhancing understanding of a user's personal data, allowing the AI to go beyond recognizing similarities and analyzing a user's emotional response to books. Can any AI model do it? Not necessarily. If an LLM model like Gemini can't find the book in its training data, it will say there is nothing available. ChatGPT has been praised for creating adequate lists, but also can get confused and hallucinate results. ChatGPT is built to find any answer. This means that if it can't find a book that fits the criteria of the prompt, it will give you another book instead. This could be if you ask to find a book on anglerfish. It might create a list of books with proper titles, but with scientists who have never written a book before. When asked about Jane Goodall, it will give you some of her written work, but not stretch the list outside of the keywords. AI models like Claude and Llama are less likely to have training data on types of books, so it is less likely to help. What are current book recommendation engines available? Some of the AI book recommendation engines out there are easy to find and easy to use. First, we have Librarian AI. This site uses a simple prompt to use content-based preference filtering system. After entering your question, 10 results will pop up with similar themes. Selecting one of the titles opens a detailed page describing the book, title, author, genre, subgenre, topic, language, mood, and a link to Amazon. There are also the options of finding theme titles from this page to find books that are about pirates, fairies, or a fantasy world like Peter Pan. This application is free and is powered by the company Impressum, based in Germany. The site uses data only within the site to create new lists through users' information behavior. It states that personal information isn't given to a third party. Second is Literature Map. This is a free site that only searches for similar authors by genre or writing style. The more users tie an author together, the closer they are to be on the map. When given the AI names of an author, it will generate multiple names that are spaced out on a page. This is a part of the Gnod Discovery Network that creates other AI maps that center around music and travel. Thirdly is Goodreads. It has its own AI that uses collaborative filtering. Generative Goodreads is based off a rating and review system. Since 2014, they have improved their algorithm to use deep learning to understand what a viewer's bookshelf and preferences are. Finally is Talpa, which is a great book recommendation engine by LibraryThing. Talpa is being implemented in libraries everywhere as a browsing tool in catalogs. Using similar prompts, you can look for things like the book about a dragon, and it will pull up dragon books in the catalog. Or you can search for things by cover. Talpa will use the catalog as a verifying source, so there is little fear of the AI making things up. Are there any foreseen problems in using a book recommendation engine? There are several issues that AI experts pose concerning reading recommendation engines. One is that AI could present titles that aren't very similar. AI will often give answers even if they aren't correct. To complete requests, AI might share books in other genres that have similar plots, but not specific preferences like writing styles. The problem for recommendation AI is to work, it needs a lot of data. If users aren't engaging with the catalog in multiple ways, the AI won't have enough data to accurately recommend books. Another issue is content. AI doesn't understand the significance of taboo stories. It would be possible if a person is looking for a book like Children of Blood and Bone, they could be recommended Beloved by Toni Morrison. Both have themes in racism, but Beloved is extremely tragic with issues of abuse. On the same note, AI might have bias and get hung up on details about demographics and only assign books that are themed towards, let's say, Pacific Islanders. Along the same lines, the AI may only pull results from existing users' preference, which limits exposure to the user to different types of books. There has been some acknowledgement that even with enough data, AI might go with the most picked and well known book from the selection. This would be like if you were looking for a book like Harry Potter and it shows you Narnia instead of Howl's Moving Castle. Recommendation systems would pick well known and older books and not diversify the list. Finally, concerns about patron privacy and confidentiality. Using the user's personal data is to curate a list can cause issues with how the data is being used and where it's being stored. In conclusion, AI is a perfect tool to be used to help in library collections and catalog searchability. For recommendation engines, it would help personalize a patron's browsing experience and efficiently find new books and narratives for readers to enjoy. Not many AI reading recommendation tools are currently being marketed, but for some of the free versions, we can understand the usefulness of implementing them in libraries.